Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is HackVanGuard of CyberDisciples. Today, we're going to do some defensive security intro. The last video we did do offensive security. So today, we're going to be focusing on preventing intrusions from occurring and detecting intrusions when they occur and responding properly. Now, we're gonna get to the lab, but there's a whole bunch of reading in between. So I'm just gonna go through it, breeze by a few things, grab the important stuff. But I want you guys to make sure that you read through everything. Make sure you try to understand to the best of your ability. There's a bit of information here, so let's just check it out. Um, some of the things that are related to defensive security. We got cybersecurity awareness, documenting and managing assets, updating and patching systems. This one is important. There's going to be a lot of that going on. That basically means ensuring that computer servers and networks devices are correctly updated and patched against any unknown vulnerability. Yeah, it's a lot, but the more you start to read, study, and start to see these words constantly back to back, um, the material starts to get easier, right? So with repetition, what you want to do is try to just do it every day, constantly read, and study, and things will become easier. It's a little bit overwhelming at first, but you'll be fine. So right here, a few things that they're going to cover as far as defensive security. We got Security Operations Center, SOC, threat intelligence, digital forensics and incident response, DFIR, and malware analysis. Not bad. So here we have which team focuses on defensive security. So this, we're going to go blue team. Oops. Blue team, right? Perfect. Offensive is red team, defensive is blue team. That helps, with all the information. They try to color coordinate everything because there's a lot going on here. Let's get to the second part. In this task, we will cover two main topics related to defensive security. We have Security Operations Center, SOC, where we cover threat intelligence, and then Digital Forensics and Incident Response, DFIR, where we also cover malware analysis. Um, and then right here, they basically break down what Security Operations Center is. We went through this in another video, but I want you guys to make sure you read through everything here. Basically, straightforward vulnerabilities, policy. Um, this is the environment, right? So when you're working with all these monitors, different people, they do have like a, step-by-step situation so you can help each other out and figuring out where you need the most defense. Threat intelligence is important. In this context, intelligence refers to information you gather about actual and potential enemies. Um, this is important because once you understand what the threat is, you'll be able to come up with a plan and implement it, denying the access that these hackers are trying to gain, right? So, this is a great picture here. Right here, it shows you where data is collected, processed, and analyzed. So we gather up the raw information through the firewall, through the internet, through everything. We put it in the blender here just to organize it, and then it shoots it out. And this is where we're able to analyze where the problem is or check what's bad, what's good, and life becomes easier. So breaking down what DFIR is, the different things that they're going to cover: digital forensics, incident response, malware analysis, right? So yeah, just read through all of this. We're trying to get to the lab here. Oh, perfect. This is a great picture. This has to do with incident response. So when you go for an interview, this is one of the questions that they ask, right? What are the four boxes that are under the incident response? And you're going to go preparation, detection and analysis, containment, eradication and recovery, post-incident activity. So when you're looking at an incident, you basically go through these process, and that's the formula to help you organize what you're trying to do, right? Malware analysis. Malware stands for malicious software. Software refers to programs, documents, and files you can save on a disk or send over the network. It goes a little bit deeper into it, so read into that, but really straightforward, right? Um, yeah, so this is pretty cool too. We have static analysis and dynamic analysis. Static is basically when you're looking at malicious program without running it, right? So, uh, you're in a safe space and you're looking at it. And dynamic is when you're running the actual malware in a controlled environment, right? So you have like this box, you're throwing the virus in there, and you get to like manipulate it, look at it, see what the problem is. So that's the difference, dynamic and static. So get used to seeing these words. They're going to pop up in a lot of interviews, right? So what would you call a team of cybersecurity professionals that monitors a network and its system for malicious events, right? So we're going to go with security operations center. Okay. Security operations center, right? We're going to submit. Boom. Right. And then it asks you, what does DFIR stand for? We went through that before up here, but just to give you guys a view, it stands for Digital Forensics and Incident Response. Right. So let's type that in. Digital Forensics. Right. And we're going to go and Incident Response. Right. Then we're going to submit. Beautiful. And then it says, which kind of malware requires the user to pay money to regain access to their files? So this is more like a digital robbery. So what they're looking for is ransom, right? Mostly, let's see, what's ransomware it's called. So when you hear this type of talk of paying money, like anything that involves monetary value, it's basically ransomware. So ransomware. Correct. All right. So now we're going to get straight into the lab now that we've passed all the questions here. All right. Here we go. This is where the goods are. The scenario: let us pretend you are a security operations center SOC analyst responsible for protecting a bank, right? This bank's SOC uses a security information and event management, which is basically called a SIM tool, which gathers security related information and events from various sources and presents them in one dashboard. If the SIM finds something suspicious, an alert will be generated. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Not all alerts are malicious. However, it is up to the analysts to use their expertise in cybersecurity to investigate which ones are harmful. All right, so it's breaking down what the situation is here. They're basically saying that we have to protect the bank. We're going to be using a SIM tool, and they're just breaking down. Okay, wait, there is an IP address. Perfect. Okay, so they're going to be using an IP address format situation so that we can try and solve the problem. So let's go to this thing here. All right, perfect. A day in the life of a junior associate. Inspect the alert in your SIM dashboard. Find the malicious IP address from the alerts. Make a note of it, and then click on the alert to proceed. All right. So here's the SIM tool. Here's the data. We have the different countries, operations, security suspicions, and attacks. This is an important thing about the tool here. You see how I scroll up and all of this is green and there's one that's red? This is helpful when you have thousands of files and you're like trying to skim through possible problems. but you have a time frame. So you just kind of scroll down. These are like little tricks. You just scroll down, look at all the reds, and then obviously you have to check them one by one. But they do have, different type of skills that you can do to narrow it down faster. So this is obviously the problem. Everything looks good. We're just going to click on unauthorized. This is the IP address. 143, 110, 250, 149. It's a port 22. So let's just click on it. Perfect. There are websites on the internet that allow you to check the reputation of an IP address. That is correct. To see whether if it's malicious or suspicious, right? So the IP address that we just saw. All right. We just have to type it in here. We got 143, 110, 250, 149. So basically you just put it in there. And what this is going to do is check if this IP address has any malicious files and stuff in them. And yes, it does. Look at that. It tells you your ISP, your domain name, your country, and the city. So China Mobile Communications Corporation, and confidence of the IP being malicious is 100%. So here we go. There are many open source databases out there like Abucel IPDB and Cisco Talos Intelligence, where you can perform a reputation and location check for the IP address. Most security analysts use these tools to aid them with alert investigations. You can also make them internet safer by reporting the malicious IPs. For example, on Abucel IPDB. Now that we have the IP address now that we know that the IP address is malicious, we need to escalate it to a staff member. This is the fun part. When I'm at work, different situations, you have to escalate different problems to different people, right? So, for example, they're going to show you here. So for the IP address that we just saw that's malicious, obviously you don't want to escalate this up to a sales executive. It doesn't make any sense. He's in sales, right? You don't want to send it to the security consultant because she consults on the security. It's not Caroline because she's the architect of security. It's going to have to be Will. Will is the SOC team lead. This is right up his alley. This makes sense. He's going to tell me exactly if he can give me the green light to continue here. So we're just going to click on Will. Beautiful. So Will gave me the permission to block the malicious IP address. And now you can proceed and implement the block rule. The block the malicious IP address on the firewall and find out what the message they left you. So the firewall block list is like on your phone if you block a phone number. This is just for IP addresses. So same thing. So we're going to write the IP address again so that we can block it. 143, 110, 250, and 149. Beautiful. All right. So now the IP address is blocked. So we found the problem. We contacted whoever we needed to contact to get the green light and the okay so that we can continue solving the problem. We blocked the IP address, so we solved the problem. And now we have just completed this lab. If you look to the right here, this is basically saying everything that we have done. Yes, we have dealt with everything in a SIM environment. Yep, everything looks good. Now, always on tryhackme.com, after you completed the lab, they give you an answer at the end once you're done so that you can type it in. That's how they know that you completed the lab here. And so the this little threat block situation here, you just basically type it in. Caps THM. And then we're gonna go threat dash block. Okay. And so everything is in order. Are we good? Threat block. Seems like we're good. But while this loads, um, you guys did great. Oh, we're good. Congratulations on completing defensive security intro. So, this one was a little longer than the last one, but this is good because you got to see how things work, who you need to talk to, the different levels and things that you have to do to kind of defend. So for me, being a SOC analyst is really fun because it gives you time to plan. You work with people, you know who to talk to. There's a playbook in play and stuff like that. So really good, really inspiring. And yeah, we got more to come, but you guys made it. Congratulations. Uh, I'm gonna try and do another lab sometime this week, but you guys made it. I'm very proud of you. We're gonna continue doing our journey one day at a time, all right? This is HackVanGuard of Cyber Disciples. Thank you guys for joining me on this video, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.